What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Feral Soul. This is your first time joining. Hello, my name is Brittany. I'm so happy that you guys are here. I have a really fun episode for you guys, and full transparency, we are trying something new. My mentor actually told me to do it. We are going just completely off script. I don't usually have some sort of outline. I usually have channeled something and, have worked on what I want to share with you guys. And something that I started to notice was that it was putting me in this sort of like paralysis. Like would sit on a topic for a really long time and kind of be like, I just need one more piece. I just need one more thing. Oh, let me research this really quick. Let me research. And I would just kind of like sit and stew. And it was getting my nervous system to kind of be like, you're not ready. You're not ready. And so we are going to do things a little bit differently. And we are just going to freaking shoot at the hip with the help of my higher self and source, of course. So, I wanted to kind of talk to you guys. I wanted to bring back the foundation, the whole reason why I started this podcast and I started this business is because I spent years and years of my life sort of like chasing external things, whether that was the job or the career or the money or the boys. Chased a lot of boys in my life, you guys. Don't tell my husband. But I've just spent I spent decades kind of doing it wrong. And I can see now why I was down that path. And I'm the kind of person that I really had to like learn the hard way. So I found 100 ways like not to do something. And when I finally found the right way, when I finally found source aligned truth and I was able to heal traumas, I was able to really get into a space where like I love my life. I love my life. And I'm not saying that my life is perfect. It is not. It is a work in progress right now. I have a lot on my plate and a lot of things that really, let me put it this way. If I was in the circumstances that I'm dealing with right now, if I had these circumstances 4 years ago, I probably wouldn't be able to get out of bed. I probably wouldn't be able to get out of bed. I would be spiraling myself to death. And now that I have these tools, it's like I can see the bigger picture. I can see why these things are put in my path. I can see why I'm having to go through certain lessons. I can see how I created certain situations. There's just something about it. There's just something about knowing that your higher self has your back, fully trusting in yourself, in what's inside of you, and knowing that energetically you are set up. And so the physical is going to have no choice but to respond better. And and speaking of responding better, a lot of times we can sit there and we can what if ourselves to death. Like I did this for so long. Like, well, what if this happens? And what if this happens? And then this is going to happen. And then I have to do this. And then this is going to happen. And it's just like this spiral where you what if yourself to the point where you are now completely depleted, completely exhausted, and you don't know what to do with yourself. I don't know if you guys have ever been like that, but I have spent way too many times doing that. And the best thing, the best piece of information that I have learned through my spiritual journey, through being able to channel source and connect with my higher self, is that whatever we have as a human, whatever plans, whatever goals you have for yourself, they are always going to fall short of what source has planned for you. They are always going to fall short of what your higher self has planned for you. It is 10x more powerful, more better, more like you couldn't even dream about the things that your higher self has planned for you. And when you have that knowing, when you have that trust, you're able to move through life and you're able to move through obstacles a lot quicker and a lot smoother, I guess, with that knowledge, with that understanding. And I have spoken to it, this has been coming up for several weeks now, actually. Clients have been coming to me, friends have been coming to me. It is this overarching theme of people are spiraling. They are completely spiraling in the state of their life or in experiences and things that are happening. I had one client who she owns her business and she had a session with somebody and she was second guessing the information that she had given to that person and she started to completely spin out and completely spiral and she didn't know what to do with her emotions and I think that this is so common um is like not just in the spiritual world, but as a whole, right? I don't think that we're taught how to name and understand and process our emotions. We are taught to, you're fine, it's going to be okay, just relax. Like, you don't need to feel that way. You're being dramatic. And so these are the things that we say to ourselves when we start to feel overwhelmed, when we start to feel sad or we start to feel angry. We start to think, I can't feel this way. I can't feel this way. And so we will stuff it down or we will try and push it to the side or you'll spiral, right? You'll begin to spiral and you'll start to, well, I can't feel this way. What am I doing? What's wrong with me? This is going to turn into this and this is going to turn into that. And it's just maddening. It can be maddening. There's so many times where I, in my 20s or something, like a bill would be due or an unexpected, we call it an incidental, something would pop up. And I would be like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. And then I'll sit there and I'll be like, oh, and if I can't pay for that, or if I have to pull it out of this account, then I'm not going to be able to pay for that thing. And if I can't pay for that thing, then I'm not going to be able to pay my rent. And if I don't pay my rent, then, my roommate is going to kick me out. And if my roommate kicks me out, what am I going to do? I can't even pay for storage. What am I going to do with all my stuff? No one's going to want to buy my stuff. And like literally, like before anything has even happened, I'm curled up in a ball in my bed. Like, why me? Why me? Just, I am the queen of spiraling. I am the queen of it. But I'm going to tell you guys a secret. I have turned my spirals into my superpower. I am telling you now, I welcome a spiral. You guys, I absolutely welcome a spiral because I know, like I said at the beginning, I know that my higher self has my back. I know that this is being put in front of me for a reason. We talk about obstacles. Being the fastest way to growth, right? We've talked about that before. And why? Why are obstacles the fastest way to growth? And it's because that obstacle, that challenge to get yourself out of it, it takes tenacity, it takes resilience, it takes problem solving, it takes all of these skills that you're able to attain when you are working through obstacles, when you are working through challenges. And so they're put in front of us as a way for us to get empowered and be like, no, I fucking got this. I can do this. But before you get there, you have to be able to name and process the emotions because everything starts, everything starts with a thought. Everything starts with an emotional charge. All of our reflections, all of our obstacles, all of our lessons, they all come from this emotional state. And when we hold on to those emotions, when we don't process them, they will amplify and they will get stuck into our body. I mean, what's crazy is something that I've learned is that fat, like actual fat, like fat cells, they are stored emotion. There is emotion stored in fat cells. All of sickness and disease, you can boil it down to limiting perceptions of yourself that you have been holding on to. And you might think that that's woo woo, but it's science, and you guys can look it up. Science is finally starting to catch up to us in the spiritual world. But I promise you guys that when you come to an understanding and you get to an emotional mastery, that is when you're going to 10x your life. That is when you are going to get to this soul-filled happiness, because you're able to see what those emotions are trying to show you, what they are saying about the limiting perception that you had about yourself before that moment. And then you can alchemize it and you can start to transmute this dense, stuck energy. And that's really the whole process. So I'm going to break it down for you guys. I'm going to break it down. When we have an experience that is emotionally charged, when we have a seemingly setback and we start to spiral, the first thing that I want you guys to do is feel it. I want you to feel it, whether that is anger, whether it is sadness, whether it is disappointment, whether it is confusion, whether it is whatever it is. I want you to feel it. If you're going to cry, if you feel like crying, then fucking cry and let that be the best cry that you ever had. Our bodies are so cool, but they are so powerful. We are built for emotions. It is a chemical response. It is a chemical reaction. Like our bodies are built to feel emotions. They're built for it. It's one of the most magical things about being a human. It's one of the most magical things about being here on earth is that we have these emotions, and we can't sit there and think like, I can only have good emotions. I can only feel joy. I can only be positive. That's something we would call spiritual bypassing. You're never going to be able to feel that joy, to really be able to feel the authenticity of joy, if you don't know what it feels like to be in authentic sadness. It's all about balance. So a lot of people will turn away from their emotions and they will say, I can't feel this way. This isn't high vibrations. This isn't high frequency. This isn't going to be conducive. And you're right. We don't want to sit in those emotions forever, right? I have had a lot of time in my life where I would feel sad, but I didn't process the emotion. And so I would harbor it. I would just stick with it. And, you know, I've shared this before with you guys, but when my niece passed away, I couldn't get out of bed for weeks. I remember thinking, this is such a feat. This is such an accomplishment when I got out of bed and I brushed my hair, you know? Like there are times where we are just sitting in sadness and we're not processing it. And trauma is a whole nother thing. And we can talk about that later. But for right now, what I want you guys to take away and what I want you guys to understand is that your bodies are made to feel emotions. So feel it. Feel it all. Okay. Sorry about that. My daughter needed to be put down for a nap and she wanted me to do it. So I completely forgot what I was talking about. That's okay. We're fine. We're totally fine. This was meant to happen. This was meant to happen. But going back to emotions, as I was putting my daughter down, I was thinking just about how she's 2.5. Actually, no, she's going to be 3 in like 2 months. So she is really big. on emotions right now. She's really big on feelings. And sometimes it's so powerful to watch her like work through things and like giving her the grace to feel it. When she is like throwing a proper fit, I let her do it. I let her just be sad, and sometimes she'll be like, I need a moment to myself. Like a little 3-year-old. I just need to be by myself right now. And it's just the cutest thing. But I will have to stop myself from telling her, "It's okay. Don't cry. It's okay. You're fine." No, like, let her feel it. She's sad right now. Let's feel this. Let's try and name this emotion. And it's okay to feel angry. It's if you're gonna be angry, then be the best angry bitch that you've ever been. You know what I mean? Like, really fucking feel that. I think that that's where I was actually, was feeling the emotions. And then what I do is I will take my app, like take my phone, the notes app in my phone, and I will just start like putting down my judgments, putting down my feelings, putting down what I'm thinking. And once you do that, like I give myself a good 24, depending upon how big the situation is, but 24 hours, maybe 48 hours for like a full spiral, And I will just what if myself, I will, just go down the rabbit hole, if you will. And once I do that, it's like I do it from a place of permission. You do it from a place of permission. You don't do it from a place of, I shouldn't be feeling this way. You do it from a place of, I get to feel this way. I get to feel this. I am valid in my feelings. If you are a victim in that moment, let yourself be a victim in that moment and be okay with feeling that way. And when you give yourself that permission to feel it, you're going to go through a cycle where your nervous system will start to calm down and you can start to kind of really think about what these emotions are. What is this sadness? Why am I sad? What is the core of why I am sad right now? Or what is the core of why I'm irritated right now? And when you can name those emotions, it is going to start to then calm your nervous system down and is going to put you into a place where you can start to really look at the reflections. Remember that we live in an inside out world. I will say it every podcast probably. So your internal state is always going to reflect your outer reality. Always, always, always. It is a law. It is how the universe works. So what you are experiencing in your reality is coming from your internal state. So we can look at that reflection, but we need to understand what it is that we're feeling and give ourselves the grace to feel that way. And once you get to that place and you can start to then look at the reflection, now we need to release these emotions. We need to release them. I am a firm believer in mind, body, soul healing. It is not just your mind that you need to reprogram. It is your body that your body holds on to these emotions. Like I said, so we need to be able to release it. We need to be able to release these stuck energies, these stuck dense chemical reactions. And then you do that all from this soul perspective of why you were here, why you were meant to be here, how your higher self always has your back. So somatic work can look different for everybody. A lot of the times I do like I like to call it like intuitive dancing, where I will just put on I'm going to botch it, the binaural beats. You guys, don't come for me. But binaural, okay, we're fine. I'll link it in the show notes or something. But I'll put that on. Sometimes I'll just put on like my favorite song or for my favorite artist, whatever it is, and I will just dance and I will just move however my body is telling me to move. And I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how silly I look. And I'm telling you, I have been brought to tears of joy from doing this. It is just an amazing, amazing release. It can look like going for a walk. It can look like punching a pillow. It can look like going on the treadmill. It can look like lifting weights, anything physical, physically getting it out of your body, shaking like a dog, shaking like a cat, whatever it is, getting that feeling out of your body. So it's this acceptance of the emotion that allows you to process it. And then once you process it, you can release it. And that is how you make a spiral your superpower. That is it. It is chef's kiss golden. I will say it is hard at first because we have been conditioned for so many years to let that spiral kind of hold us back. But the more that you do it, the more that you go through this process, you will be the queen of spiraling. You will be the queen of turning a spiral into your superpower and getting to a place of a soul-filled life. And when I say a soul-filled life, I mean happiness, true joy, true love for yourself, for your body, for your life, even if it doesn't look the way that you thought that it was going to look initially, right? We trust that our higher self has a plan for us. And as long as we are walking that path, as long as we are speaking our truth and we are working with the laws of the universe, there's nothing that we can't do. There's nothing that we can't achieve. And this is what I really, really want for my clients is I just really want you guys to have a life that you're happy in, you know? I really want you guys to get to a place where you're just like fucking good. And I'm not saying perfect in the societal construction of perfection. I'm talking about soul perfection, seeing the good and the bad as equal, seeing everything from this balanced place. So, yeah, that is my tangent. I'm calling this podcast a tangent right now. Um, I hope that you guys got something out of it. I hope that you resonated with some stuff. My heart is with all of you guys. I love being in this world. I love connecting with you guys. I love working with my clients and just getting to connect with you guys on this soul level. And like I said, just getting you to a place where you're really, really happy. And that really does start with understanding your emotions and, being able to turn your spirals into a superpower. I think I've said that too much. Okay, I'm gonna go. If you guys have any questions, drop the comments, hit me up on Instagram, and I will link all info that you need to know to get in touch with me in the show notes. All right. See you guys.